Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about ComfyUI updates, and this will be for the ComfyUI core project. So these are the updates. I'm going to go through all of them briefly, but if you'd like to pause the video and read it, so here's the full version. Okay, so let's go through the main one for last month, and that was support for Flux model. We got the FP16, FP8, we got the safe tenses model, and they've also added support for control nets from XLab AI as well as Instant X control net models. There were also several optimization, memory management, as well as better VRAM estimation. Now, of course, the usual stuff, bug fixes and optimization. Comparing this to the previous month where we've covered the ComfyUI updates, you can see that there's not a lot to talk about. The main focus was the Flux model as well as all the integration around it. Now, another aspect of ComfyUI which got a new look was the front-end updates. So in this video, we are mainly going to focus on the front-end updates. If your ComfyUI looks like this, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to change it so that it updates and it looks like this one. All right, so to make this change, you will need to be on the latest ComfyUI version. So open your File Explorer and then go inside the ComfyUI Windows Portable folder, go inside Updates, and then double click on where it says update ComfyUI.bat. This will update your ComfyUI. Next, all you need to do is to restart ComfyUI. Okay, so restart your ComfyUI and you should be up to date. Now, for those of you who are on a manual installation on ComfyUI, then you can start your ComfyUI, go into the manager, and then click on update ComfyUI. Now, to check which ComfyUI front-end version you are at, click on the gear icon, and then it will tell you at the top the version number. So for me, it's version 1.2.40. Now, even after updating, it still looks like the old menu, but you can see that we have a new settings page. We are going to cover this a little bit later on. For now, scroll down until you see menu, and then you will see a beta tag, and it tells us that use the new menu and workflow management. And right now it is disabled. So click on the drop down and then select from top or bottom. Now there is a note here in this info icon. It says that on small screens, the menu will always be at the top. Now, I prefer it to be at the top, so I'm going to select top. And the moment you select it, it will update your front end. Let's close out and let's see what exactly changed. So the menu on the right side here for me got moved to the top. And then we have a side panel or a sidebar on the left side. So starting from the top left, we have the ComfyUI, and then we have the new workflow management space. Right now, we don't have any workflows. There is an option to save the current workflow, and then if you click on that drop down, you get save as and export. There's also the refresh button. That would be for the individual fields for models or clips or any of the checkpoints that you have. Then we have the open clip space window. So if you are copying an image to clip space and then pasting it, that will open it. There is a button to reset the canvas view. This will also reset the zoom level. And then the last option we have at the top, it's to clear the current workflow. Now moving on to the right side, we have the manager. Next to it, we have some buttons for the model. So you can unload models, you can free the model, node cache, and we also have the share button. And then on the far right, we have the cancel generation as well as the queue. If you click on that drop down next to queue, you can batch queue or set the auto queue option. Now on the left side here, we have a sidebar. The top icon is for queue. You will be able to see your queue, current queue, as well as the previous history. You will see the images appearing here. Now below it, we have a node library where you can search for individual nodes. Let's move on to the bottom left. We have the toggle mode for light and dark mode. So right now this is light mode, and if you click on it again, it will go into dark mode. Now lastly, in the bottom left, we have the settings icon, which will bring you back into the settings. So let's go over the settings. Now we already talked about this menu. We scroll down, we have a node here, and there is a new feature here. Double click node title to edit. Make sure this is toggle on, and when you go into your workflow, you have like a node title there. Previously, we have to right click and then select title in order to change it. And as you can see, sometimes it's very difficult to actually see that field. But now you can put your cursor on top of the title and then double click on it and then change the title like this. Now, I found that sometimes I would accidentally double click on the title while trying to move it. So if this happens to you, you can click outside of that node, then continue moving it. By the way, this is like an input field on any web page. So you have full control over your shortcut keys. You can cut, you can paste, you can copy, you can also use the mouse. You can right click on the mouse to get the context menu. So you'll have your cut, copy, paste, all of that there. Now back into the settings. If we scroll down, we have a section for the sidebar. And right now it's set up as small and on the left side. But if you prefer it to be on the right side, there's an option for it. And you can see it move to the right side there. You can also change it to normal or small. Now in the workflow at the bottom, there's also a few options which got added. This show missing models warning. Right now it's off, but you can switch it to on. There's also a sort node ID when saving the workflow, which is right now off, but you can, of course, change it to on if you need it. Now, if you have custom nodes installed and those custom nodes give you options to change, they will appear on the left here, and you can switch between the Comfy core or a different custom nodes. In my case, I have the crystals, and then I have Def utils, and this one there's only a log console. But as you can see, if those custom nodes are giving you these options, they will appear here. Now for the manager, you go all the way to the top and click on the manager, you will see that it is still the ComfyUI manager menu like previously. So no change for this one. Okay, now let's talk about the workflow management area. So this is this section at the top here next to the ComfyUI name. Maybe for you, like if this is your first time using it, it will say unsave workflow. In that case, if you want to save your workflow, just click on the save button here. It will ask you to give it a name. Now let's make as if you've saved your multiple workflows. To switch between them, all you need to do is to click on that drop down and then select it from the list. So in this case, I have test A and test B. I'm going to switch to B, and you can see it loads the workflow. I can switch back to A, and that as well will load it. Now you can also edit the name. So that's basically renaming. Now when you're clicking on this close icon here, this is going to close the workflow. It's not going to delete the actual file, basically. So as an example, I'm going to close out this test A, and then I'm not going to save it. I'm also going to close out test B. And this just brings me back to a default ComfyUI workflow. Now, if I want to go back to test A or test B workflow, I can go into the browse section and then just open it from there. So one way to think about it is that this browse area is going to be your file explorer. And then the top area where it says open is going to be the individual tabs that you would otherwise have to open if you were using the previous old ComfyUI. Now from here, like if you don't want the workflow and you really want to delete it, so basically send it to recycle bin, then you would click on this delete icon here. Now, one really good options that they've added here, and basically they listened to the community and improved on it, is this little icon here, which basically insert the workflow into the current workflow. So let me show you an example here. We have these nodes from test A. I'm going to delete this save node here. Then I can go into the drop down, go into test B. And if I show you test B, it's just a save image node. So for test B, I'm going to click on this icon, insert the workflow into the current workflow, and then I get the node there. All right, so you can basically create your building blocks, maybe a workflow just for inpainting, another one for upscaling. And then when you are making your master workflow, you can just bring those elements into that big workflow. Now, other than that, we have a browse feature. This is similar to the load button from the side menu here that was previously there. It's going to give you the options to find images or find actual .json file, and then you can load it in here. Then we have a blank. That's just going to load a blank workflow. All right, so the final thing I would like to cover is this sidebar. Let's go over the Q button first. And by the way, you can resize the sidebar. If you move your cursor over the edge of that sidebar, you will see that you'll get the option to drag it left or right in order to decrease or increase the size like this. So I have it open on the left side here, and I just have a very simple image going into an invert mask and then back into a preview node. This is going to maybe take a second to generate. That's why I have this workflow here. So I'm going to click on this Q button and keep your eye on the left side there. So as you can see, the moment you click on Q, it starts showing you that there's an image that's about to generate, and then tells you the time taken for that image generation. Plus, once we have the image here, it will appear on that panel as well. So if I were to change the image and click on Q prompt, you can see we have the history and the Q both in one panel now. So previously, when it was still on the right side, that floating menu, you had to click on Q to look at current Q, and then if you wanted to see the history, you'll need to click on history. And if you wanted to see these thumbnails of the images that you've generated, you probably were using a custom node. Now it's in the core ComfyUI package itself. Now, so at the top, we have an option to fit the image preview. So right now, all the images will appear as a square aspect ratio. But if you click on this button, you can see this one is not a square. So it just fits it so that you can see everything. Now you can also show where these images were generated, basically like the node ID. And we can see for this one, it's preview image ID number 14. So if I click on this option here, it will tell me here, preview image ID number 14. I believe you can also click on it. Yes, you can click on this name here and it will jump to that particular node. So once again, if I click on the name, it jumps here. And you can view it by clicking on the eye icon and then navigate the history or like basically the images like this. On the right side, top right, there will be an X icon to exit out of this view window. And then lastly, there is a delete button. So if you want to delete all the tasks, just to have a clear sidebar, maybe if you're doing testing, you can click on that delete button, click on delete, and that would be it. Now, of course, you're just deleting the tasks here, the images. If you have a save image node, those images will be saved in your folder. All right, so next, let's move on to the node library. And for this one, I'm going to expand it a little bit. So this is the library which contains all of your nodes currently installed. This search nodes at the top is a fuzzy find search bar. So you can type in, as an example, I can say Flux, but I can type in clip, which is at the end. And you can see that the actual name of the node is clip text encode Flux, but I don't have to type in that exact order. As long as I have part of the name in my search field, it's going to search for it and give me these options there. Now, in order to use it, you can click on it. It will add it to your workflow, but I find it more practical to click on the name and then drag into my canvas wherever I want to place it. So if I want to place it at the top there, I can drag and release it there. Now, next, there's a bookmark feature here. That was also a requested feature, and they quickly added it. If you click on this bookmark icon, it will basically bookmark it. And right now I'm under a filter, so I have a search filter here. So let me clear out the search filter. And now you can see that whichever node that I'm going to bookmark will appear at the top. So let's do another example. I'm going to go into image, and then I have the save image node. I'm going to bookmark it and pay attention to what happened at the top. We'll just add it to the top of the list. You can further organize this section at the top, basically your bookmark section. There is a button here for new folder, and I can say, let's just say personal. Then you can click on these nodes and drag it inside those folder. So for example, I have these two nodes under this folder. Now I can also right click that folder and create a new folder inside it. So basically a nested folder like so. And I can of course put my favorite or bookmarked nodes inside it. So you can stay organized at all times. Now, if you need more filtering option, there is an icon here, like a funnel icon. If you click on it, you get some more options to filter the list. So you can look for the input type, if it is model or any of these options here. You can also do it for the output type, same thing. There's also for category, and we also have one for the source, where it's coming from. And lastly, we have a sort order at the top. So you can sort all the nodes by ascending order or descending order. No, sorry, I think it's ascending order and then just back to default. We don't have a descending order. Maybe that could be a requested feature. All right, so let me check my notes. I think we've covered everything that I found on last month update, at least for the front end. In the back end, obviously, we've already talked about the Flux models. On the channel, I've talked about the Flux model in detail. So if you'd like to get more updates, please go on the channel and find any of the videos. If I've missed any of the updates for the front end, let me know in the comments down below. And I would also like to know if you prefer this version or the old version. Now, for me personally, I think this one is way better, especially this workflow management area. The fact that we can open multiple tabs of workflows and work on them. And I did not showcase this, but right now I have an unsaved workflow. Let me quickly just add something. So I have an image blob. I have not saved this workflow yet. I can go into this workflow management area, click on a new blank workflow. And this one, I'm just going to add a preview image. So even though I have not saved any of these workflow, I can switch back to them right? And keep working on them. So this is really great because now you don't have to constantly save unfinished workflow and then load them back whenever you need to work on them again. That is it for me today. Thank you for watching until the very end, and I will see you in the next one.